I would like to invite Dr. Jim. Why should you care about ethics? Why should you care about ethics, Dr. Jim?
I would now like to share with you the most boring topic in the entire universe: ethical decision making. Nobody cares about ethical decision making up until the day that you're going to jail. At which point in time you care a lot about ethical decision making because clearly something went horribly, terribly wrong in your life. So as professionals, we know that there is a thing called ethical decision making. We read the paper, we see those stockbrokers being taken off to jail in cuffs and then ending up wearing the orange jumpsuits, and we think, wow, they made a bad mistake, but it doesn't affect me. Or does it? So it turns out that ethical decision making is a part of all of our lives, and you have already made ethical decisions in your life, and you'll probably make more ethical decisions as you go forward. The question I have for you is, did you make good ethical decisions? Silence grips the room. Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So ethical decision making, what is it? Well, you know exactly what ethical decision making is. It's when you have a decision to make and you know that one of the decisions, one of the possible outcomes, is a good thing to do, the right thing to do. And the other one is the wrong thing to do, right? So it's really choosing between right and wrong. Well, great, fantastic. How hard can that be? We know, we intuitively, our gut tells us what's right and wrong, right? This should be very simple to do. If it wasn't for that one little problem. And one little problem that we run into when it's time to make ethical decisions is that sometimes there's actually not a good decision. Sometimes when we're making ethical decisions, what we're actually doing is we're choosing from a whole bunch of bad decisions. The result of an ethical decision that you make could very well be that you lose your job, that you go to jail, or somebody else goes to jail, or the company that you work for fails. And arguably, that was the right decision to make. I don't want to make that decision. Come on, give me an out. Give me some other decision I can make, right? So if you make a good ethical decision, you may lose your job, you may go to jail, your company may go out of business. Now, if you make the wrong ethical decision, you may get more money, you may get promoted, and you may possibly end up going to jail. Well, which one are you going to choose? Oh, well, I like option B better, right? Wrong! That's the wrong way to do it. Now, ethical decision making is a tricky thing to do, and it's very hard to do right. In fact, we know it's really hard to do because mankind has been talking about ethical decision making for over 2,000 years. 2,300 years ago, a gentleman who you may be familiar with, Aristotle. Does it ring any bells? Yes, it does. Who was Aristotle? Aristotle was the student of Plato. Oh, we know Plato. Okay, so Plato was the really smart guy. Aristotle was his student. Okay, Aristotle was a super scientist. He was actually the first scientist. He classified plants and animals. Nobody else had done it. What the heck? He went out and named things. Fantastic. That's great. Now, Aristotle was also the teacher to somebody else you might know, Alexander the Great. You know the guy who conquered all of the known world? Apparently he had a teacher, and his teacher was Aristotle. So Aristotle gave a great deal of thought to ethical decision making. And his answer was, sorry, he didn't really have an answer. Okay? What he did say is there was something he called the golden mean. And he said that your ethical decisions should lie along the golden mean. And it was halfway between good and halfway between bad. What the heck was he talking about? Try this one on for size. Okay? You're going to build a factory, and the factory is going to produce widgets. Now, there's 3 types of factories you can build. One produces no pollution, and it's going to employ 5 people. Another one produces some pollution, but probably a manageable amount, but it's going to employ 10,000 people. And another type of factory that you could build is going to produce a lot of pollution, but it's going to employ 50,000 people. Which factory do you build? Well, pollution's bad. We know that. But is it like really bad and we shouldn't produce any? Or is it like, we can live with some pollution because that's a lot of jobs? Or, screw it, no problems with pollution, I'm going for 50,000 jobs, because those people will vote for me, or elect me, or give me money, whatever the story is, right? So you've got different types of decisions to make there. And by the way, which one is the right one in terms of that factory? What's the right decision? I have no idea. I suspect you don't have any idea either. Now, in your job, you need to be careful. Because I wish I could say, hey, Wednesday is the day that you have to make ethical decisions. Okay? So if you could just take Wednesdays off, then you could just completely avoid this ethical decision. It doesn't work that way. Ethical decisions have this nasty habit of sneaking up on you. Let's say I wanted to get you to make a bad ethical decision. How would I go about doing that? Watch and learn. I'd wait until Friday afternoon, maybe Friday evening. You're working at your desk, I'd show up, I'd have all these designs that I had made. I'd say, hey, listen, I understand company policy is that I have to give my designs to you. You have to take a week to review them, sign off on them, and give them back to me. But man, my boss is hassling me, okay? He's on my back. I got the designs done, I've checked them, I know they're good. Could I just get you to sign them? It would mean so much. I would owe you. I would owe you big time. Would you sign off on my designs? Some of you probably say no. Well, I'll follow company policy. But I'll bet some of you would be willing to sign off on my designs. Now, once you did that, I could come back to you at some point in time when you're going through a hiring process and say, hey, listen, I heard that you just talked to 3 candidates. That first candidate, he's my wife's sister's son. Look, my understanding is they're all pretty much talented and pretty good folks and stuff like that. If you could see your way to selecting him, that would make my wife's sister happy, it would make my wife happy. If my wife's happy, I'm happy. If it's no big deal to you in this particular case, if you could just select him, it would mean so much to me. Would you select him for me? I mean, we work together. If you don't select him, I'm going to be constantly going, you let me down, right? Well, if you select him for me, now I can move you to the 3rd level. You'll be involved in some sort of vendor selection process, right? And I'll come up to you and say, hey, I heard that you had a proposal from all the vendors, right? It's my understanding they're all pretty much the same, right? I mean, it's just a matter of picking one of them, and you can't go wrong with whoever you pick. The guys from ABC Corporation are actually taking me out to the ball game, and they got like this really cool looking box seat. Why don't you come along with me? Look, they're not trying to influence you. It'll just give you a chance to meet them, and maybe it'll help you make up your mind. Come on. Ethical decision making is a slippery slope. Come with me and make the wrong decision. Keep in mind, it's up to you to make the right decision.
Thank you. Timer.